I worked alone in silence, but why did my phone receive messages from someone claiming they knew how my success would change everyone's life? Some people work hard in silence hoping one day the world will notice. I worked in silence because I was terrified of what would happen if it did. By 28, I had mastered the invisible life so well that even my own parents didn't know who I really was anymore. They thought I was barely surviving. In reality, I was quietly becoming someone powerful enough to change all our lives, and possibly destroy them if I wasn't careful. My name is Leo. I lived in my parents' basement, coded through the night, and hid millions behind a cracked foundation and old family lies. And the universe didn't speak to me until it knew I was ready to listen. I learned early that money didn't just disappear in my family. It evaporated. My father, David, was 56 when this all began. He believed deeply in loyalty, even when it ruined him. Especially when it ruined him. My mother, Elena, 54, carried that quiet endurance that only comes from decades of pretending everything is fine. Then there was my brother, Julian. Julian was 31 and forever on the edge of greatness, according to everyone but reality. Every new idea was the one. Every failure was temporary. My parents funded his dreams like they were moral obligations. Retirement accounts shrank, credit cards maxed, hope was recycled and reused until it lost meaning. I watched all of this growing up. I learned one thing very clearly. If I succeeded loudly, I would become the next financial lifeline. So at 21, I made a choice. I disappeared without leaving. I told them I worked low-level tech support, fixing printers, resetting passwords, barely scraping by. I let them believe I was struggling because struggle was familiar. Success wasn't. Down in the basement, I built something else entirely. 7 years passed like this. 3 monitors, endless coffee, no sunlight except what leaked through a tiny window near the ceiling. I worked on software that optimized global shipping routes, shaving seconds off delivery times that were worth millions to the right companies. I didn't tell anyone, not because I was arrogant, because I was afraid. Every 5-figure payment I received went straight into accounts no one knew existed. Offshore, isolated, untouchable. I watched numbers grow while upstairs my parents argued about grocery prices. Some nights I nearly cracked. Have you ever had the power to fix everything and chosen not to? I told myself I was waiting for the right moment. That timing mattered more than generosity. That if I helped too early, it would all collapse again. Silence became my discipline. Isolation became my shield. Then the universe broke its own silence. It was a Tuesday, 2:14 a.m. My phone buzzed with a number that wasn't a number. Just zeros. No country code. No contact history. The message knew things it shouldn't have. It referenced a transfer I had made hours earlier. An amount I hadn't written down. A purpose I hadn't fully admitted to myself. It told me to stop hiding. I sat frozen, staring at the screen while my coffee went cold. I ran through every logical explanation. Hackers, coincidences, psychological tricks. None of them explained the precision. I didn't reply. That didn't stop the messages. The texts arrived when I was weakest. When loneliness started clawing at me, they reminded me why I was alone. When I thought about quitting, they showed me consequences years ahead. Specific ones: hospital bills, missed surgeries, financial collapses that hadn't happened yet. It felt like a mystery narration of my life, unfolding ahead of me while I lived inside the echo. The messages didn't comfort me. They instructed me. They spoke of patience like it was a weapon, of money like it was fire, useful, but destructive if handled emotionally. Slowly, I stopped seeing them as threats. They felt like guidance. What would you think if your future started sending you notes? The hardest message came with my brother's name attached. It warned me not to save him. It told me that if I stepped in, Julian would never learn to stand. That pain was part of the design. That rescue would turn into dependency. An hour later, Julian called. Car wrecked, crying, broken. My parents turned to me with disappointment already prepared. I had $80,000 available instantly. Instead, I said no. I have never felt smaller or more powerful at the same time. That night, my father called me selfish. Said he wished I was more like Julian. Someone who tried. I cried alone, surrounded by wealth I couldn't use. The messages didn't comfort me. They explained. Months later, my software was acquired. The number attached to my name didn't feel real. Millions don't feel heavy until you realize they can crush people you love if you drop them carelessly. I was still in the basement. Still invisible. Then the messages stopped. 3 days of silence, panic, doubt, fear that I had imagined everything. Then one final text arrived. It told me the foundation was ready. When I finally told them, I didn't just reveal money. I revealed time. Years of restraint. Years of love disguised as absence. I didn't hand them cash. I handed them structure, protection, boundaries. I made sure Julian couldn't touch what would save them. My mother's health issue was discovered days later. Early enough to fix. Early enough to matter. That's when I understood. The voice wasn't magic. It was discipline, patience, and the version of myself I became by staying silent when it hurt most. True success doesn't announce itself. It prepares. I learned that silence can be love. That restraint can be generosity. That the future doesn't need to be predicted if you're willing to build it carefully. So tell me this, do you think the future speaks to us? Or do we just finally hear ourselves once we stop running? If this story made you feel something, share it. And if you want more stories about sacrifice, growth, and quiet strength, don't forget to like and subscribe.